we reached the Champions League semi-finals for the first time in this save. Now, just one team stands between us and a place in the final. Liverpool. Welcome back to the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge here on Super Semi Plays. And for the first time in this save, we're just 2 games away from reaching the Champions League final and recreating Sir Alex Ferguson's remarkable achievement of winning the Champions League with Aberdeen. And who else to be standing in our way of the final other than one of his greatest rivals in Liverpool? Domestically, we still have work to do in the league, as there's actually a title race for the first time in a few seasons as Celtic are pushing us all the way. And for the second year in a row, there is potential for a domestic treble, as we have the Scottish Cup final also coming up. So, can we take that massive next step of achieving our goal and reaching the Champions League final? Let's get into it and find out. And we're going to be starting this one by jumping straight into that first game, that first leg against Liverpool. It is at Anfield, so we don't get the home advantage early on. But it does mean if we concede, we've got a chance to pull it back and turn it around in the home leg, the second leg. And we had a good chance first early on, but a good save from the goalkeeper, and then another good save from our goalkeeper this time, Shahaj, keeping the scoreline at 0-0 and denying Ekitike. But in the 14th minute, a great ball over the top to find Sar. He cuts back on his right foot, plays it back, and then Carlos Alexander, what he was doing, I have no idea. Dawdling on the ball, Sar takes it off of him and puts it into the back of the net to give Liverpool a 1-goal lead early on. And then 8 minutes later, Sar hitting the crossbar again as he nearly doubles. And then 8 minutes later again, Sar with a little dink to find Ekitike, and he sends the goalkeeper the wrong way to make it 2-0 to Liverpool, and it is going wrong very quickly for us as Nathan Brown crosses to the far post, and what the hell Caicedo is doing there, I have absolutely no idea. But a handball is given and a penalty for Isak, and he hits the post and we get away with it somehow. With the way this has started, I certainly expected that one to go in. But just before half-time, signs of life, Canazun pulling it back to Hernandez. He finds Moise Keane, and unfortunately the save from the goalkeeper keeps the scoreline at 2-0. And then into the second half, Ekitike with the free kick, but another good save from Shahaj to keep the scoreline 2-0. 13 minutes later, unlucky for some and unlucky for us on this occasion, as Isak gets free with a pass from Nathan Brown, gets it onto his right foot and shoots straight through to make it 3-0, and we have got a mountain to climb from this point. 76th minute, Canazun trying to get us back into the game. He pulls it back into the middle, Fatty laying it off. And unfortunately, the effort does go over the bar and we have lost the first leg 3-0. But straight into another game, trying to get some confidence back as we play Hibs at home in the league in this one. And a lovely little ball through to Eric Adam. He gets clear down the left, pulls it back to the edge, and our youngster Finlay Marshall puts us 1-0 up inside 12 minutes. But 9 minutes later, Hibs managed to get themselves level, and it's our old nemesis Robbie Ewart with the header making it 1-1. And you might notice there is a few youngsters playing in this one. Stourier finding Ansu Fati, and he shoots straight through under the goalkeeper as we go back 2-1 in front. And then Piers Charles with one of his signature long kicks, finding Wernblad, Funk back to Fati, and a lovely finish past the goalkeeper for his second goal of the game as we go on to win 3-1. So with that victory, we have guaranteed qualification for the Champions League for next season, which is obviously very nice. Just the 6 million available to spend again. Honestly, the money, we must be just spending everything on wages because this club is just not making money at the moment. I thought by now we would have had better sponsorships, and obviously the Champions League money would really make a difference, and it's literally coming straight in and getting spent straight on wages, and we're just really not sustaining it at all at the moment. So that is a bit of a shame, and this certainly isn't going to help either with Marinowitz getting a wage hike. So, yeah, that is literally where all of our money is going at the moment. And then we have the return leg against Liverpool at home this time, certainly hoping for better in this one. And in the 10th minute, Ungamoa going past the defender very easily, pulling it back to Sar, who causes so many problems in the first leg, and he gets on the score sheet again to make it 1-0 to Liverpool and 4-0 on aggregate. Liverpool causing us all sorts of issues in this one. The corner getting cleared to the edge of the box, and Ungamoa's effort rattling the crossbar before we get it to safety. And then in the 24th minute, another effort coming in from range, but another good save from the goalkeeper. And to be fair, 11 shots to them to our 7. It's not like we've been totally out of the game, but we just aren't doing anything meaningful. And in the 50th minute, can finding Moise Kean, but unfortunately, Xhaka gets there first to stop that attack. And then in the 59th minute, Bafundi with a range effort hitting the crossbar, and that is just about how this tie has gone for us so far. And it's wrapped up in the 87th minute with Alexander Isak as he puts one into the bottom corner after a nice move between him and Ekitike as Liverpool go on to win 2-0 on the day and 5-0 on aggregate. So, very disappointing end to the Champions League campaign. I definitely feel like we didn't give or show anywhere near what we're capable of in that one. I have no idea what happened, but we certainly didn't turn up for either of those legs against Liverpool. We have received 13 million for playing in the semi-final, so that's a nice little boost to the finances. But like I said previously, that will be all going on wages probably. So, yeah, if we want to sign any new players in the summer, it's going to have to be paid for by player sales. And to add insult to injury, we are going to be missing Felicio Caicedo for the next couple of weeks as well. So now it was back to the league, and we've still got that one to wrap up. And yeah, big match here as we go away to Rangers. And they gifted us a chance in the opening 7 minutes, which Marinovic says thank you very much and puts into the back of the net. Before Canazun looks to have doubled it in the 23rd minute, but unfortunately, you can see he was offside. And yeah, I think those lines are still in the wrong place. And then in the 54th minute, Chamiti doing what he always does to us and scoring, getting Rangers back level. And unfortunately, we drop more points as we finish 1-1. So this is how the league table is looking with 2 games left. And we are 1 point in front of Celtic with Celtic still to play. So yeah, we've got to win our last 2 games to guarantee we win the league title again. So the first of those 2 games is going to be away at Dundee United. And to be fair, we always do pretty well here. And that is shown in the 36th minute as Martin Bernblad puts us 1-0 up. And then 20 minutes later, into the second half, great ball over the top to Ansu Fati. And he's certainly had a nice run of games recently, getting on the score sheet here until it is ruled out for offside. Very tight decision and unfortunate for him, but the scoreline remains 1-0. Or in the 68th minute, Pafundi getting down the left, going past the man and shooting. Comes back to Jay Robinson and he puts it into the back of the net to make it 2-0. Before just a couple of minutes later, Dundee United, Idowu getting free down the left with a great ball to Darren Shepherd and he pulls it back for Dundee United to make it 2-1. But we do wrap it up a few minutes later in the 76th minute. Semi Kiliksoy shows what we missed in those games against Liverpool as he makes it 3-1. So, last game of the season and whoever wins this wins the league. Massive game against Celtic. I'm not entirely sure what happened here, but apparently there was a handball and we do get a penalty, which Canazun steps up and says thank you very much before smashing it down the middle and making it 1-0. And then in the 37th minute, Semi finds our centre-back Pedro Silva and he bends one into the far corner to double the lead. Jamie Gittins get it on his right foot, pulls it into the middle and Gilberto Mora pulls it back to 2-1. And then just the other side of half-time, Hamza Abdelkarim gets Celtic back level. We were 2-0 up and we messed it up. But in the 56th minute, we do retake the lead as Ryan Suki Sato pulls it across to Marinovic and he has been on fire recently, scoring for fun and he gets another one here to make it 3-2. And then he gets another one here to make it 4-2 in the 66th minute. And we have restored our 2-goal lead. And then in the 79th, Funk pulling it back for Marinovic who gets his hat-trick and makes it 5-2. Certainly stepped up on the day that we needed him to for the league title. And then Carlos Alexander finding Canazun. He finds Hernandez. It somehow ends up back to Canazun and he puts it into the back of the net to wrap up a 6-2 victory. We beat Celtic on the last day of the season and we have won the league title yet again. First time we've actually had a title race for a few years, but I think that's maybe 5 years in a row now we've actually won the title. So very pleased to have wrapped that up in the end and yeah, and continue our dominance in Scottish football. So, like I say, we have won it again. I think it is 5 years in a row now. And yeah, now just the 46 titles behind Rangers. So we are catching up slowly but surely. Consecutive wins for Aberdeen, like I just mentioned. And yeah, Marinovic certainly on form in this one as he scored a hat-trick to win us that match. He certainly turned it back round after Celtic had just got back level. And he has certainly stepped up this season. I'm surprised he's still only worth 14.5 to 19.5 million. He's looking very good and he's only going to get better. So we're looking forward to seeing how he can do it next season. Did want to check to see if he had a release clause in his contract, and he doesn't, so that is all good. And yeah, just a reminder, we only paid 3.3 million for him, and he has certainly cooked for us this season with 16 goals and 12 assists in just 20 starts. So unbelievable from him. And we are crowned champions, like I say. So just one thing left to wrap up, and that is going to be the Scottish Cup final against Kilmarnock. And we won the domestic treble last season, and we were looking to do the same again with this one. And in the 44th minute, we do get in front with a semi-Kilisoi, making it 1-0 just before the half-time. And then 2 minutes into the second half, Semi finding Funk down the left. He plays a lovely ball through to Marinowitz, who gets on the score sheet again to make the scoreline 2-0. And then I'm not entirely sure what happened here. Maybe a moment of frustration as they were 2-0 down, but Ayari absolutely smashes through the back of Michael Funk, who has missed a lot of games through injuries this season, so that wasn't great to see. But he does get a straight red card, leaving Kilmarnock to play the majority of the second half with 10 men. And we add a third in the 86th minute to go on to win the Scottish Cup, to complete the domestic treble for the second season running. And certainly a nice way to end the season after a disappointing end to our Champions League and European campaign. So, Semi on form in that last game of the season, like I say, showing us what we missed out on in the Champions League with them missing both of those games against Liverpool due to injury, which is certainly a shame for him, and it was certainly a shame for us, as Moise Kean certainly didn't step up when we needed him to in those games. But good performance from him. I was interested to see actually how he did compared to last season, because I feel like he's actually scored a lot of goals, but then when you look on here, it says he only has 4 and 4, which is quite surprising. So yeah, last season in 34 starts, he had 11 goals in the league. And this season, just 9 in 29. So maybe that is an area that we need to look at improving, because 9 goals for someone who plays in that attacking positions, majority as a striker, is not particularly great. And yeah, we'd like more goals than that, basically. So we'll certainly be looking at that in the summer. But onto the awards, Abdel Karim does claim the top goal scorer, and unfortunately Pafundi dropped off at the worst time as he finished third in the league in terms of the goal scoring. And yeah, finished with 19 in 43 starts, 10 sub-appearances. But not obviously the 19 weren't all in the league, else he would have probably won it. But yeah, unfortunately, he misses out. Marinowitz, unsurprisingly, winning Young Player of the Year and Football Writers Young Player of the Year, as he certainly did brilliant this season. And yeah, we win the Manager of the Season award. But this one was quite surprising. We've won the league again, and we get 2 players in the Team of the Year, and the rest of it's filled with Celtic players. So please explain that one to me, because I'm not entirely sure how that works. Premiership award winners, and it is the Celtic players who dominate this one again, with Jamie Gittins winning Player of the Year, which is quite frustrating considering we actually gave him a miss in the summer. But fair play to him. He certainly stepped up here and done well for Celtic. And this is a side of things to come, ready for the summer, as Al Fati come in with an offer of 22.5 million for Carlos Alexander. So that swiftly got rejected. But yeah, a sign of things to come, as like you've seen for the last couple of seasons now, everybody seems to want our players, specifically our defenders. Our 3 main centre-backs seem to get offers left, right and centre. So, and we do also have the commercial summary. And as you can see, sponsorship was up 91%. Competition prize money up 71% as well. So, nice boosts there. And yeah, hopefully that can keep increasing, so then we can actually get a decent transfer budget, because this 5 mil and 6 mil here and there is just not cutting it. There's only so many wonder kids I can find on the cheap. And like I said, we were in for another summer of busy transfer dealings. And Man United seeking our centre-back Diakate, while Al Oli are chasing Urena. So that's 2 of our centre-backs wanted already. In terms of the European rankings, we have risen 6th place to just 14th, which is still feels quite low considering that we've reached the top 8 last season and the top 4 this season. But yeah, Scotland have progressed 2 places in the coefficient up to 6th place. So the country as a whole is being recognised, just maybe not Aberdeen quite as well as they should be. So I'm not entirely sure what happened in the Champions League semi-final against Liverpool. I'd have been fine with getting knocked out by them, but to have not even laid a glove on them and concede 5 goals, that was certainly very disappointing to watch. We did at least finish the league strong, as we added a Scottish Cup as well for a domestic treble for the second year running, so we should probably at least take the positives from that. We've got another important summer coming up as we look to improve this team to make it capable of going all the way next season. And judging by a couple of those messages about Diakate and Urena, we have got a very busy summer coming up, pending off transfer offers for our key players. But that is going to do it for this season. And if you've enjoyed it, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys next season.